to a cafe and I would order coffee and I would have my journal. And my rule was I wouldn't drink the first sip of coffee until I had written my first sentence. So I was trying to associate the reward of the caffeine with the productivity of the writing.
Well, that's good.
Because once you write that first sentence, you can keep going. And so then I would write for about 45 minutes, just, like Julia Cameron morning pages, kind of.
Yes, that's what I was thinking of.
Get the creativity juice flowing. And that's probably the best practice I've ever had in my life, is morning pages. They're magical. And, I'd do some Pilates in the afternoon. I mean, my life was awesome.
Yeah.
But I was so stressed out all the time. I was just so anxious about, not performing well and being in the wrong job and just, angst, so much angst. And I just needed to I needed to have a baby, I guess. I don't know. But I'm really happy now. I've got another one coming in a month. So it's going to be crazy again. The first 6 weeks can be kind of hellish. But I think this time at least I'm more set up and I'm not trying to move countries. I'm going to live in the same place. That's going to help a lot.
Well, you just got one move behind you, so hopefully that'll settle you in.
Yeah, and we bought, so we're committed.
Yeah. In a conversation we had last week as we were chatting, we briefly touched on the impact that Stephen Pressfield's book, The War of Art, has had on each of our creative work in terms of fighting resistance. If you want to talk a little bit about that, but also are there some other books that have affected or impacted you that you'd like to share?
Yes, Stephen Pressfield's book is fantastic. I think in our last conversation, I asked if you'd read it, and of course you had, and you loved it. And it's basically his idea is that he personifies this fear or tension that we tend to feel, which makes us avoid our creative work, on our most pure, our best work, the work of our soul, as the resistance. And I think of it as like one of the, the ghost of Christmas present. By thinking of it as a spirit of itself, even though it's really just part of your mind, it helps you to recognize when it's kind of whispering in your ear and telling you, you're not ready to start work yet. You need to go and buy some more canvases, or, this light is really not right in this room. Get that set up first. And you could spend your whole life setting things up or changing direction, and just being aware of why do I keep stopping myself? Has been really, really helpful for me. So I love that book, and it's a very fast read, and it's just fascinating, and it's so spot on and true. Other ones that I've really liked, I got a lot out of The Artist's Way. I think I know she has a book for kids, but I'm really looking for one that's for parents who only have 5 minutes a day, because that's all I have right now. And I want to bring some of those practices back into my life, but I like the idea of morning pages a lot, and I think she says a lot of smart things. And then I'm scanning my bookshelf. I know there's one that's really big for me. I really like some of those, getting things done. I like David Allen's book. The idea of only capturing things that are actionable and differentiating between stuff I want to do maybe or someday versus I want to do now. That's helped me separate the non-essential tasks from the things that really matter.
David Allen's process, or his thoughts about dividing things out into different, I think of as folders or drawers, where this is one day, someday, keeps it from clogging up the here and now, at least for me.
Yeah, it's great. And one of my favorite pieces on writing is by Stephen King, and he writes about the writing process. That's great. Oh, and my favorite article is called Wives of the Organization, and it was published in the 70s, and I think you'll have to find a scanned copy if you Google for it. Wasn't digitally published. Wives of the Organization talks about how women, and this is in the 70s, so things have changed a little bit, but I just saw an article today in TechCrunch suggesting that not as much as we want, that women in organizations tend to want to and volunteer to and also be expected to take on tasks that are wife-like,
yeah,
in the 1950s sense. organizing meetings, planning events, running like the culture committee, getting coffee for people when they come, taking notes, like kind of the very small tasks that I like this phrase, I'm being eaten alive by ants. That's what happens to your time when you spend it all on like low visibility, low impact activities that matter. They totally matter, but disproportionately women take them on, and they don't tend to be recognized or rewarded. And this article just warns you against becoming a wife of the organization. I think all women should read it.
Yeah.
And, for that matter, anybody who finds themselves continually feeling like I work so hard and I'm not rewarded, that can happen to men and women.
Right.
But, and especially, when you're young, it's easy for that to happen. But I think it's right to think about what really matters to the bottom line of my business. How can I impact that? I mean, you are working for a business, right?
Right.
Or if you're working for a nonprofit, you're trying to achieve a mission. What really matters for the mission of this organization? It's a good question to ask yourself. So I loved that one. That one has let me say no to a lot of things. Oh, and then lastly, getting to yes on negotiation. I used to teach negotiation. I think that's another thing that everyone should learn.
Yes.
It's the easiest way to have more impact and bring home more money, honestly.
Good stuff.
It's an important skill.
Is there someone you know who is outside of the spotlight, but doing something important that's having an impact that the world should know about?
Yes, definitely. A couple of my clients I would put in that category. One of them is a founder named Andre Cherney, and he used to be a speechwriter for President Clinton. And he has founded a financial startup called Aspiration. And Aspiration has jumped through a ton of regulatory hoops to be able to offer financial investment products to the masses that used to only be available to millionaires. So these are kind of like hedge fund like financial products. And what I love, I think that's an important mission in itself. But what I really love is the pricing model that they use. They're a very mission-driven company. Their slogan is "Do well, do good," and the way that manifests in the product is every user gets to pick what percentage they would like to give to the investment firm as fees, and it can be zero. So you can pick, to give as they actually, I think the max right now is something like 2% or 2.5%. But you can pick how much in fees you want to give. So you're really in charge. Most investment firms and banks don't give you a choice. You just get your fees and you don't even know they're there. And you just, little by little, your investments are being eaten away, and you might hate your bank, right? And then 10% of those fees, which is a big number, go to charity. So whatever you give, 10% of that is going to go directly to a charity. So that's a great one. I think that, it's already the fastest growing financial technology startup ever. And I think it is growing very quickly, and you're going to see a lot more from them in the future. But check out aspiration.com, and people can email me if they need an invite code, because I think they're still on invite only. And then the other one is Eve Blossom, who is the founder of a company called Weave, and their website is weavebuilt.com, WEVE built.com, and she has created this global network of artisans and designers and makers who produce products that are super sustainable, beautiful jewelry and children's toys and textiles that there's a completely transparent supply chain. So you're not contributing to human trafficking or sexual exploitation or child exploitation. It's just like great, well-made products, and the money that you spend on these products goes to the people who make them, which is an opportunity for most in the developing world. They'll never see American level dollars. They get like such a very paltry share of what we spend on our products, and most of the products that we buy are made in a really unsustainable way that's very bad for the environment. So I love Weave. Those are two.
In an earlier conversation, or you had mentioned Experiment.com?
Yes. I love experiment.com. Experiment.com is a company I've worked with. They're in the Bay Area. They are the Kickstarter of scientific research, a crowdfunding platform for all kinds of scientific research. So, today, the kind of ones they're promoting on their site. They have one about, does the experience of awe predict ketamine's rapid antidepressant effect? Can art interpretation, jujitsu, meditation, and service heal brain injury? And developing a new treatment for Ebola virus disease. They've done like digs on dinosaurs, and these are all projects that, the amount of funding relative to, say, like a NHS grant is very small usually, but it enables research that doesn't always fit the template of a larger granting body to happen. So there's a big problem. And, because I spent so long in academia, I was very aware of this, that there are favorite topics, and there are favorite advisors and favorite professors. And the academic world is extraordinarily political. And money does not flow freely to the best ideas. And in science, the more inquiry we can do, the better. I think where the filter is important is ensuring that research that is disseminated and built upon has been properly, validated and peer reviewed. And the journals take care of that. But to get initial projects off the ground, this is like really a world-changing platform, like to be able to do science without going through a big institution. So I love, and also these founders, Cindy and Denny, are the real deal. Like I am so impressed with them. They're so young. They're on it. They just are like rigorous and energetic and open to change and open-minded and smart and aggressive. And I'm so bullish on them.
Right.
So yeah, check out experiment.com. Tons of like really fun content. It's just interesting to see the projects that they're doing.
Well, wonderful. Well, to wrap it up, is there one thought that you'd like to leave with our community that you believe could make a difference in their lives?
Yes. You don't get what you don't ask for. So ask.
Hear, hear. Well, thank you. All of the links for the folks that you've talked about, all of those will be in the show notes.
Great.
And we'll also have your links for Twitter and LinkedIn so that folks can get in touch with you directly if they'd like to do that.
Great. It was so much fun talking to you. Thank you for having me.
So I appreciate your time with me. It's been a wonderful conversation. I appreciate you.
Thanks, Charles.
Thanks for listening to The Creator's Journey. If you enjoyed our theme music, the name of the song is You've Got a Home by Krista Wells. If you enjoyed the show and would like to see it fare well, as opposed to saying farewell to it, please go to iTunes and subscribe. While you're there, if you give us a favorable rating and review, it'll make a huge difference in whether a newcomer is able to easily find it or it just gets buried. And remember, you're welcome to join the community and conversation at thecreatorsjourney.com to make suggestions and get updates about upcoming guests and notes from each show. Till soon, my friend.